Hey everybody, welcome back to the Confident Retirement Podcast brought to you by LPF Advisors. I am your host here, as always, Kris Flammang. Joining me is my co-host, sidekick, resident CFP, Collin, who will help us break everything down today. We're diving into some important updates about the Sarasota Memorial Hospital retirement plan. Notices of the changes went out in November and the changes went into effect December 19th. We've received several calls, lots of inquiries from employees that we work with, and that's why we're doing the session today so we can drill down on what's important as they could have an impact on your retirement savings and how it grows. So let's jump in, but first we're going to do our disclaimer. The information that we provide is in our opinion and not necessarily of the firm or of SMH or the platform. LPF Advisors is not affiliated with, endorsed, or employed by SMH or Lincoln Financial. We provide general information only on the podcast and not any customized investment advice. Nothing should be construed as tax, financial, or legal advice. You should consult with your own professionals about your personal situation. Okay, we got that out of the way. Collin, take it away.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate the introduction. So, Kris, what are some of the main updates to the plan? What was sent out?
Yep. So first off, what happened is a very common occurrence in the retirement plan world. Starting in December, on December 19th, SMH Healthcare enhanced the investment lineup for its retirement plan. Now, this included adding some funds, eliminating some existing ones, and they switched some of the funds to a lower cost share. And that gave participants some better options. It reduced the investment expenses, which helps employees to keep more of their returns. There were a couple funds that we were kind of sad to see go, but most of the new funds look to be an improvement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what happened to those funds that are removed?
Well, any of the funds that were eliminated had their balances, the money that was in there, or for any employees that had money in those eliminated funds, the balances of those and any future contributions automatically got redirected over to the replacements. There was a chart in the notice that outlined where each one of the eliminated funds assets went. And if you were invested in any of those funds that were impacted, you didn't have to do anything. They automatically moved over to the new one. This includes your future contributions, any exchanges or rollovers going forward as well. And as I mentioned, there's a chart that showed where everything went in the notice that everyone received.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. What about new portfolios that were added? There were a few of those as far as the target dates, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the plan added some new portfolios to the investment lineup. Portfolios are made up of several funds from the choices, and they include updated options that just occurred. So there are now target date funds in the conservative, moderate, and aggressive tracks that are tied to the future dates of 2030, 2040, 2050, and 2060. We'll most likely do maybe another session on target date funds in the future. There's a lot of working parts there, pros and cons of those, but we don't have time for that today.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Now, will employees' accounts be rebalanced because of these changes, or how does that work?
Yes, if you were invested in a portfolio, then your account automatically rebalances after the update and then every 3 months going forward. And they do this, it ensures that your investments stay aligned with the updated portfolio structure and what you've chosen to be your path.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Are there changes to the plan's default investments?
Yes, the default options were updated also to include the new conservative portfolios for target dates 2030, 2040, 2050, and 2060. And what a default is, Collin, is if you haven't made an investment election in the plan like you're enrolling, and your retirement age aligns with one of those target dates, those new default options out in the future, then your full account balance or your future contributions will automatically move to that appropriate default portfolio that's most in line with your current age and your expected retirement date in the future.
Now, do the participants need to take any action now? Is there anything they need to do specifically?
Well, everything went into effect as we mentioned, on December 19th. So you didn't have to take any action if you didn't do anything that automatically occurred. But it is still a good idea to go in and review the new investments that you were moved to possibly, and make sure your future contributions are going where you want them to go. And make a decision if the changes align with your retirement saving goals and what your time frame is. If you do want to make changes, this can be done by logging into the participant site or by calling the Lincoln Customer Service Contact Center, which are both listed on the notice and on your statements when you look at those or when you get them.
I mean, that's a big thing that we see. So if you do go in to make those changes, also make sure you're making changes to where your future contributions are going, because we've had a lot of calls on people that forget to make those future contribution changes going forward. But
yeah, and while you're in there, check your beneficiaries too, to make sure that you have one named and that it's the person or persons that you want.
That is the right person. Any final thoughts, Kris, on the changes?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, this is a common occurrence. It's something that's done with the best interest of the participants in mind. So if you haven't already, it's a good idea to check your new allocation to see if it's aligned with your time frame, your goals, and your appetite for risk. If you're not sure, there's no shame in reaching out for help on that from a knowledgeable source.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's a wrap for today's episode on the SMH retirement plan enhancements. Remember, taking a few minutes to review your account now can help you stay on track for your retirement goals. If you've got investment, retirement, Social Security, or leaving a legacy to your family, questions that go beyond our discussion today, we'd be happy to set up a convenient time to speak with one of our experienced advisors. Feel free to visit us at lpfadvisors.com on the interwebs, or email us using info@lpfadvisors.com. Be sure to subscribe and share our podcast if you liked it, since you stayed to the end and found it helpful. So thanks for tuning in to the Confident Retirement Podcast. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care and be well.
You've been listening to the Confident Retirement Podcast with Kris and Mark from LPF Advisors. For more information on them and retiring confidently, please visit lpfadvisors.com. If your ears are pleased and your mind is now at ease, do share the program with your friends and subscribe wherever podcasts are found.